All right, guys, Melissa this morning. How's everyone doing? I want to chit chat about things before I lose it on my videos. Uh, I'll go back to my videos later, guys, in life and be like, okay, how can I tweak what I said over here? How can I do this better? But right now, this holds a place for me as I share about things that I want to share about. I have an interview like at 11. I did get some extra sleep last night, but I'm still kind of not quite past that point. I was on the verge of a migraine. Sleep is so important, and I don't think it's just for me. I think for a lot of people. Like my son was sick, and I was trying not to get sick. I think I did have like some flu symptoms. I think it was more than just being tired. So I want to be able to get back to where I normally am. But I'm good enough to function today. I wanted to visit my son last night and I was dozing off. So I did use my DoorDash for us and I dozed off a couple times. But it was more important for me to stay home last night and take care of myself and have some time with my guys than to work. You know, we have to make these decisions all the time, like which one's more important, how is work going? That's another indicator. Is it a good fit? I don't know that this place is a good fit, but I have another job, and I was told to dress, like really well to impress. I had my clothes pretty much planned, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to. I always have. I've always done that. I've always dressed up when I go to an interview, and I'm like, I think I'm just wearing this today. I think, as long as I have a clean shirt and clean pants, I think it's going to have to be good enough. And if I don't fit, that is fine because I'm not going to present somebody. I'm not going to present something I'm not. As far as like and I'm not saying they're saying this. I'm not going to wear a bunch of makeup because I'm not a makeup person. It doesn't mean it's wrong. Some women are humble enough to say, you know what, I need it. So maybe when I get older, I'll be like, oh, I will wear makeup. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too lazy. I don't know. I'm just not a makeup person. I like looking natural, and I hope she sees the heart of, where I'm at when I go to this interview. So, I want to talk a minute. This is great, but I want to talk a minute about trying to think of how to connect that thought with what I want to talk about. Um, Yesterday, this week has been amazing for me. It has just been such an amazing week. Not just hard work, but amazing. So, guys, I pitched. Well, I had, what was it? Wednesday I went. I talked about what my vision is. My vision is to make abortion unthinkable. I am not afraid to say that. I believe all abortion is unnecessary. In fact, I wore my swag to work the other night hosting. I wore pro-life stuff hosting to the public. So I'm not afraid to stand for what I believe. If you don't stand for something in your life, then what are you standing for, right? You're like, I don't want to say you're nothing, but if you don't have some convictions in life, you're wishy-washy, right? So I don't have a problem standing for life. I believe life is important all the way up, all the way like till death, right? New Hampshire Right to Life stands for this too. Nobody has the right to take life. Um, so I talked about that, and I talked about how I was going to do that, and it's by paying for women to have their babies. Now, when I say paying, I'm not talking about surrogacy. Yes, women who are doing surrogacy get a lot of money to do this, right? Not something I would do. I just would not do that. I'm too old to do that, but even in my young years, I would not do that. I know some people can't have kids, plenty of kids to adopt. It's just not something I personally would do. But how do we help encourage moms who do have babies to keep their babies? When I talk about paying for their babies, I believe if women have all the support they need, it's going to make choosing life easier than abortion. And when I say paying, I don't just mean money, I mean adding value to their life. So God has given me a lot. He's given me everything. So when I think about the abortion that I had and how my life no, is that a right word? I gotta wake up. Transformed into what I did, where I turned my whole life around. I had my husband that helped me with that. So he was the one who worked all the time. He's the one who, I mean, he had a full-time job and he worked while I was raising our guys, which, he can't do that. He's not made to do that, right? Men are not made to do that. So it's your role. It's a woman's role to do that. Men are the providers. I don't believe men are the ones who are the ones to just be the sole, they're the providers. The women are the nurturers. I don't believe men are the ones to do the main nurturing job. Um, so as we look at this, we want to help moms in their roles. So I was like, how did this happen? And it's because I was able to stay home. And I did work too, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with a woman working when she can, but her main job is her children. So, I chose to save time so that I could homeschool. We actually started off in a trailer. We had our first three in the trailer, and then my husband had cancer. So when we talk about, how do you have enough money, when you're a small family to take care of this, usually you don't. Most people start off with very little. So I had to use resources. So I was talking to the group, I was talking to everybody about, helping moms pay for their babies. Um, I did it with resources. That's how I did it. And so there's nothing wrong with asking. There's nothing wrong with it. It's smart. So somebody had said to me, you are not in the, he said, what business are you in? And I said, this was a guy who likes to think. And this is what he does for a living. He helps a lot of businesses think. So I said, I'm in the people business. He said, no, you're not. I go, yeah, I am. And he goes, no, you're in the resource business. You are in the business of resourcing. And I'm like, I think he's right. So as I thought through